The Third Lateran Council in 1179 was the result of the Peace of Venice, 1177. The defeat of the forces of the Emperor Frederick I Barbarossa and his antipopes was accomplished by Pope Alexander III and his allies in the League of Lombardy. Alexander III had been elected pope by a majority of the cardinals in 1159, but a minority of cardinals loyal to the emperor elected the antipope Victor IV. Thus began 18 years of schism that saw two more imperial antipopes, Pascal III and Callistus III. With the support of England, France, the Normans of southern Italy, and the northern cities of Lombardy, Alexander III defeated the emperor and called the Ecumenical Council in 1179 to ratify the Peace of Venice. Over 300 fathers from the Latin West, some from the Latin East, and one Greek legate from the Greek Church were present. However, the Orthodox churches do not recognize the council as ecumenical. The Third Lateran Council established that the candidate, who received 2/3 of the cardinals' votes, would be the legitimate pope, and any other claimants would be excommunicated. In Canon 2, the council invalidated all the actions of the antipopes. Some canons reiterated earlier prohibitions against jousting and violations of the peace of God and the truce of God, found in the Second Lateran Council. There were also reiterations confirming celibacy for clerics, not only with women, but also in this council against the unnatural vice with other men, most notably argued in the Book of Gomara, by St. Peter Damian circa 1051.
Canon 1. Therefore we decree, that if by chance, through some enemy sowing tares, there cannot be full agreement among the cardinals on a successor to the papacy, and though 2/3 are in agreement, a third party is unwilling to agree with them, or presumes to appoint someone else for itself, that person shall be held as Roman pontiff, who has been chosen and received by the 2/3. But if anyone, trusting to his nomination by the third party, assumes the name of bishop, since he cannot take the reality, both he, and those who receive him, are to incur excommunication and be deprived of all sacred order, so that viaticum be denied them, except at the hour of death, and unless they repent, let them receive the lot of Dathan and Abiram, who were swallowed up alive by the earth. Canon 3. Since in holy orders and ecclesiastical ministries, both maturity of age, a serious character, and knowledge of letters, should be required, much more should these qualities be required in a bishop, who is appointed for the care of others, and ought to show in himself how others should live in the house of the Lord. Therefore, we declare, by the present decree, that no one should be chosen bishop, unless he has already reached the age of 30, been born in lawful wedlock, and also is shown to be worthy by his life and learning. Further, with regard to the inferior ministries, for instance that of dean or archdeacon, and others which have the care of souls annexed, let no one at all receive them, or even the rule of parish churches, unless he has already reached his 25th year of age, and can be approved for his learning and character. Canon 5. If a bishop ordains someone as deacon or priest, without a definite title from which he may draw the necessities of life, let the bishop provide him with what he needs, until he shall assign him the suitable wages of clerical service in some church, unless it happens that the person ordained is in such a position that he can find the support of life from his own or family inheritance. Canon 7. We severely forbid that anything be demanded for the enthronement of ecclesiastical persons, or the institution of priests, for burying the dead, as well as for blessing marriages, or for any other sacrament. But if anyone presumes to act against this, let him know that he will have his lot with Jesus, whose action he imitates by his demand of a disgraceful present. Moreover, we forbid bishops, abbots, or other prelates to impose upon churches new dues, increase the old, or presume to appropriate to their own use part of the revenues, but let them readily preserve for their subjects those liberties which superiors wish to be preserved for themselves. If anyone acts otherwise, his action is to be held invalid. Canon 11. Clerics in holy orders, who in open concubinage keep their mistresses in their houses, should either cast them out and live continently, or be deprived of ecclesiastical office and benefice. Let all who are found guilty of that unnatural vice, for which the wrath of God came down upon the sons of disobedience, and destroyed the 5 cities with fire, if they are clerics be expelled from the clergy, or confined in monasteries to do penance. If they are laymen, they are to incur excommunication, and be completely separated from the society of the faithful. If any cleric, without clear and necessary cause presumes to frequent convents of nuns, let the bishop keep him away. And if he does not stop, let him be ineligible for an ecclesiastical benefice. Canon 18. Since the Church of God is bound to provide like a mother for those in want, with regard to both the things which concern the support of the body, and those which lead to the progress of the soul. Therefore, in order that the opportunity of learning to read, and progress in study, is not withdrawn from poor children who cannot be helped by the support of their parents, in every cathedral church, a master is to be assigned some proper benefice, so that he may teach the clerics of that church, and the poor scholars. Thus, the needs of the teacher are to be supplied, and the way to knowledge opened for learners. Canon 19. In several parts of the world, the governors and officials of cities, and others too, who are seen to have power, often impose on churches so many burdens, and oppress them with such heavy and frequent impositions, that under them, the priesthood seems to be in a worse condition than it was under Pharaoh. But though we must in this matter grieve for the churches, we must grieve none the less for those who seem to have utterly cast aside the fear of God, and respect for the ecclesiastical order. Therefore, we strictly forbid them, under pain of anathema, to attempt such acts in future, unless the bishop and clergy see the need or advantage to be so great, that they believe that where the means of the laity are insufficient, aid should be given voluntarily, by the churches, to relieve common needs. But if in future, officials or others presume to continue such practices, and after warning refuse to stop, let both them, and their supporters, know that they are excommunicated, and let them not be restored to the communion of the faithful, unless they make due satisfaction. Canon 23. Although the apostles say that we should pay greater honor to our weaker members, certain ecclesiastics, seeking what is their own, and not the things of Jesus Christ, do not allow lepers, who cannot dwell with the healthy or come to church with others, to have their own churches and cemeteries, or to be helped by the ministry of their own priests. Since it is recognized that this is far from Christian piety, we decree, in accordance with apostolic charity, that wherever so many are gathered together, under a common way of life, that they are able to establish a church for themselves, with a cemetery and rejoice in their own priest, they should be allowed to have them without contradiction. Canon 25. Nearly everywhere, the crime of usury has become so firmly rooted that many, omitting other business, practice usury, as if it were permitted, and in no way observe how it is forbidden in both the Old and New Testament. We therefore declare that notorious usurers should not be admitted to communion of the altar, or receive Christian burial, if they die in this sin. Whoever receives them, or gives them Christian burial, should be compelled to give back what he has received, and let him remain suspended from the performance of his office, until he has made satisfaction according to the judgment of his own bishop. Canon 27. Since in Gascony, and the regions of Albi and Toulouse, and in other places, the loathsome heresy of those whom some call the Cathars, others the Patarines, others the Publicani, and others by different names, has grown so strong, that they no longer practice their wickedness in secret, as others do, but proclaim their error publicly, and draw the simple and weak to join them. We declare that they and their defenders, and those who receive them, are under anathema, and we forbid under pain of anathema, that anyone should keep or support them, in their houses or lands, or should trade with them. If anyone dies in this sin, then neither under cover of our privileges granted to anyone, nor for any other reason, is Mass to be offered for them, or are they to receive burial among Christians.
The Cathars, or Albigensians, from the town of Albi, were heretics who believed in a dualistic God. The good God controlled the spirit world, and the bad God controlled the physical world. Thus, they denied the incarnation and the resurrection of Jesus, much like the Docetists.